Good afternoon, you guys. Thanks for coming. Wanted to thank the BGSU community, all the professors and administration on our campus for all their hard work to sign a really good high school class. Obviously, times have changed. Normally you sign 25 high school kids. Because of the new wave of the portal, that has changed. But really wanted to thank everyone for all their hard work and everything they did to make this possible. So with that being said, any questions?
Who sticks out with you and Gers with the early signing period class that you were able to grab? Who sticks out in terms of the early signings?
Well, we'll find out obviously here in January with the new enrollees, and then obviously we'll find out here in June. You know, you do all this evaluation and all this work to see where they're at, but you normally never know until they get here. But we really like this group. We think they're talented on tape. We think that they're super good people along with good families. So we followed our track record of recruiting really good players, really good people, and good parents. So really like this group in terms of that. And then obviously we'll see whenever they get here. We'll find out if there's some guys that can play early. We'll find some guys I'm sure that will need redshirted and developed. That's just part of the process, and all of that will be determined when they get here.
It seems you guys are obviously continuing to get out of Ohio and finding players. How important is that for you to get out of Ohio and find quality talent elsewhere?
Well, you know, we don't want to get out of Ohio. You know, Ohio, Michigan, the Midwest is important to us. It's just a changing and evolving environment that we're in right now, and we'll see where we're at after this signing class with the portal. And obviously, you know, you got to find a happy medium right now. It's a different world. You can't 100% go all high school. You can't go 100% all transfer, because then you have zero culture in your locker room. I think our approach on the portal this year has been really good. We were able to fill our holes last year, and we were able to have good people come into our program. We really did a good job, I thought, evaluating good players and good people. And that's the tricky part right now. You're having to decide on transfers that you're making decisions in less than 3 weeks. And normally in the recruiting process, when you have a high school kid, it's 2 years, sometimes even longer than that. So, you know, it's an evolving way of doing business, and we're trying to find a happy medium of doing good business with the high school kids along with doing good business with the transfer portal.
Is that a constant balance for you with the transfer portal, having a balance, finding kids in that portal versus also recruiting as well? Is that a continuing cycle with recruiting?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's the new world that we're living in, unfortunately. You know, I would love to go back and to be able to recruit 25 high school kids. I think this is really doing a disservice to the high school player. The numbers right now in the state of Ohio and the state of Michigan are cut in half of Division I players, and it's just because of we're doing what everyone else is doing in terms of we've signing roughly 12, 13 high school kids, and going to recruit 12, 13 transfers, and it's a happy medium. And our approach, you know, with the transfers is that, you know, trying to have some type of relationship, not some type of relationship, a great relationship with their previous head coach, so we can find out the exact details of why the kid's leaving, the character of the kid, can he play at this level, and so there's a lot to this, and just like I said, knock on wood, fortunately we've been last year we were really able to bring some talent here, which helped our team win and bring good guys to the locker room. So that's the first time we really dove into it, was last year. And we didn't do it the year before, which we probably could have been in the same situation that we're in now in terms of wins and losses. But we did that to try to establish some type of culture before we had to go into the new wave.
When it comes to the quarterback position, obviously Matt's final game most likely will be on Monday. Is there a sense of urgency in trying to bring someone in there, or kind of where do you lean on that position in recruiting this?
Urgent as urgent can be. We had a very talented high school player commit to us. He's a diamond in the rough. I really believe that. He's super intelligent, Lucian Anderson. Very impressed on his visit. Great athlete, can run like no other, and also highly intelligent. The kid wants to be great, and that's why he came to Bowling Green, is to be developed. And we found him late in the process. We didn't find him late in the process. He just committed to 2 other teams that lost their head coach through job changes. So we've known who this kid has been, and he's been on our radar, but God has a funny way of working, so we were able to get him, which is great. And then we're obviously looking for some older kids too in the transfer portal that could come in here and help us with the changing of the guard, as I would say.
Can you talk about your footprint, Coach? You talked about recruiting the 4-hour radius, et cetera. I think, 5 of these 13 kids are from the Buckeye State, got 1 from Indiana, so the majority of them are actually out of that footprint.
Yeah, we're normally trying to be 75% in our footprint. This go around, we're in 50. But we don't know where this number is going to go. And where I mean that is the old model of having your class done, in this first wave is kind of a thing from the past. If you look at Harold Fannin, we didn't sign until May. And there's going to be a lot of really, really good high school football players that they're not going to find homes. So I think you'll see some more high school talent being signed by us. Obviously, we'll be weighing the options with the free agency. So this recruiting thing, like it normally has been done, like you look at it and 99% of your business is over. Really, in all actuality, this has really just begun. It's kind of moving back into the old school wave where you're really not done with your class until February. And then when you're done with your class, you get a little bit of relief, and you have spring football, then you're in a whole new recycling of potentially 12 to 13 new players in your program by June 1. So this whole thing's changed completely.
A couple of names going to jump out to fans that have followed the program for quite some time. These legacy players, obviously, Jacob Harris, Josh's son, and then Jabari Mitchell, another name that folks will recognize as well. Talk about those.
Yeah, obviously I've known Josh a long time, and his son, Jacob, is a talented guy. We're more than likely going to try to put weight on him and move him to the positions of Harold and Sims. That's what our plan is. We'll start out at wide receiver like we normally do with those guys, and they don't gain weight, they stay at wide receiver. They gain weight, they'll move to that hybrid position. We always like starting them at wide receiver because with our tight ends, we play them everywhere. We play them at tight end, we play them at wide receiver, we play them in the slot, we play them in the backfield. So the natural progression for Jacob is going to be start at wide receiver and see where this thing goes. Jabari was, we went down to see him during winter recruiting last year, and I fell in love with that kid. His great family, mom and dad are awesome. Kind of like how things work, he was committed to another school. They changed jobs, and he came down to us in another Mid-American Conference school that's one of our rivals, and we were able to get him, which was great. He's a wonderful guy, and I think he's going to be a big-time player. He's really tall, long, competitive like his dad. So it's going to be great to have those 2 legacy kids here.
Talk about names being one lost in the trenches as well. See some defensive linemen coming in real young, but only one offensive lineman was in our center this year. You feel pretty good about the guys that are coming back then?
Yeah, I do, but we are far from, just like I said, this process has just begun. We'll end up having, when it's all said and done, 1 or 2 new quarterbacks in here. By the time we start school, we'll probably have anywhere between 1 to 3 new offensive linemen. We might have 2 more new safeties. potentially a linebacker. So this thing, I wish, there was some a final end to all of this, but there really isn't. This is the world we live in. The way that this thing is set up, our team, our true team that we might trot out on the field, what it looks like now and what it'll look like June 1st could be totally different. If you really think about the guys that we signed last year, there was 20 some odd guys that played last year that I didn't even know their names this time of year. It's different, and I think at the end of the day they're going to have to change. If they can't figure this out, and this is the pace that we're going to go on, spring football needs to look like mini camps where you're. How about if you lost your starting quarterback right after spring football? Like, all that work that you did is out the window, and I really think they need to look at, if they're going to keep this pace up and not change how we're doing the recruiting business, I think the football business during the winter needs to change. It needs to look different. And you have a couple mini camps during spring football, and then you have full-blown OTAs in the month of June like the pros do to develop your team. So this is changing. This is insane. But you adapt and you adjust and you do your best with it, and that's what we're going to do. But normally we sit here and we go, okay, you got 26 guys or 25 guys, you're evaluating them inside and out. You guys are having a blast with it. And just like I said, in 2 weeks, there could be 10 new high school kids on here if we think that they're better than the transfer portal. There can be all the rest transfers. We don't know. And by the time we hit May and spring football and people aren't happy where they're at in their depth chart, we could have 10 more new. And it's the way the world's working right now. So I'm really happy with the guys that are coming. I'm very excited with this list we have here. We did our research with them. They fall into our way of doing business in terms of good player, good people, and good families. And just like I said, I know that there's 50% of our footprint in here, but that can change in a minute. So that's the way we're approaching it.
How has this new world changed what your message is in the last year to players and parents for why BG is a good fit for them?
It hasn't changed. That hasn't changed whatsoever. Our messages on how we recruit hasn't changed from the time we got here. Our message to the kids and the families is quite simple. Number one, we're going to graduate your son with the highest GPA possible. And the GPA thing is really important to us because back in my day, you just had to go to college. Now you got to go to college, and now you got to go to grad school. So having a really good GPA is really important. And I think that showed in our all-MAC academic team. We had 15 guys. I think that's a record here. And so we're playing good football and also doing it right in the classroom. The second thing that I always tell our recruits, regardless where they're from, is that we've got a really good coaching staff. If you look at our coaching staff, I think we have over 200 years of Power 5 experience, really smart, good coaches that have been around, and that we're going to maximize their development on and off the field. Number three, we're going to prepare them for life after football. And that's really important to me because of what happened to me. I played as a freshman, all that stuff, and then the next thing you know, I'm never playing ever again because I got hurt. So developing these guys on and off the field is really, really important to us as a staff. And then finally, number four is that we're going to win championships, and those things are right in front of us finally. We finally, you've heard the story. Year one, you're going to stink. Year two, you're going to stink worse. Year three, you're going to win some games. Year four, you're going to be competitive as hell. And we were competitive. We were a game away from playing Toledo again in the championship. And now we need to take those next steps, and we need to get ourselves over the hump, which I said to our staff and our players, the jump that we made from January to September I thought was really significant. We finally look like a football team. This next step of being elite in the era that we live in is going to be really hard. And this next jump, we have got to do a great job from January, September. like we never have in this program. Because number one, we've got guys going in and out, and number two, it's a world right now that it's hard to be good every single day. Look at college football right now. It's hard to be good, and that's the next step we need to take.
Any questions bull related before we let Coach go?
Yeah, Coach, I mean, obviously it's 5 days away from heading up to Detroit. But have you seen the anticipation, excitement level within the team kind of ramp up as you guys get closer and closer?
Yeah, we entered today into we're 6 days out. This is a Monday to us, so we are doing our Monday routine. The only thing that we're doing different is we're practicing in helmets and shoulder pads, unlike normally we're in helmets on Mondays. Yeah, as you get closer to this thing, the excitement level and the importance and all that definitely gears up. You know, you spend essentially the first 3 weeks essentially practicing young guys and keeping the old guys in shape, but trying to take care of their bodies. And now we're in game week, so it's you know, we've got 2 OBJs and 2 OBJs only in this game. Number one is to win this game for the seniors. This group that we've been a part of, I'm really proud of because they hung in there and they moved the needle of our program this year, which we needed to. And then second, we want to win this game to springboard into 23. And so this isn't, in my mind, just some regular old bowl game. We're going to go and try to compete to the best of our ability to play our best game.
With that balance, I mean, we see more players playing this game because you mentioned obviously looking ahead as well. I mean, or is it just going to be kind of?
We're trying to win the game, plain and simple. Where our best players are going to play. Carl Brooks is going to play, and that says a lot. You know, he wants to win this game as much as we do, and you know, it just shows you what a type of guy Carl is. You know, he's playing in a bowl game when he's going to be a 1 through 3 draft pick more than likely round wise, and yeah. So our seniors really want to go out with a win, and this is the first one they've ever played in Lord knows how long. So we're excited about it. I know my family's excited about it. When I first got here, my youngest daughter goes, "Daddy, where are we doing? Where's Santa Claus coming? Which hotel is he coming to this year?" They've got to do Christmas at home for the last 3 years, and that's good enough. I'm good with that. We need to get back to the hotels. I think this is 23rd or 24th bowl game as a player and coach that I've been a part of. So we need to be in hotels during this time of year. Get Santa Claus to come to the hotel.
Absolutely. But in regards to your opponent, New Mexico State, obviously you guys have probably been seeing a lot of film on them. You know, what I guess jumps out in regards to playing them on Monday?
Well, Coach Kill is fantastic. A guy that I've always respected, learned his name when I was very, very young in this industry. Not shocking that he's been able to change things there. He's a really, really good football coach, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy that they made this jump, and we're walking into a team that beat Liberty by a significant amount. We watched what happened in the Liberty-Toledo game last night. It was a dogfight. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full. We got to play our best game. We got to stop this quarterback. He's very good. And offensively, we've got to take care of the football, and that's going to be huge. Like, if you look at the games that we've won, we've really done a great job of protecting the ball. You look at Kent State and Buffalo, it was awful. And so we need to take care of the ball.
You mentioned obviously the motivation's obviously going to be there. With these guys haven't played in the bowl game yet, and obviously you want to win one for the seniors. The time off, does that play a factor in not having played a game, so to speak, in a couple weeks? Or
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, you've watched some of these bowl games. They start out slow. I don't know. You know, I think we practiced really hard, and I think, you know, I've used the formula that we've always used with these great head coaches that I've been a part of how you handle a bowl game, how you make the beginning a little bit shorter than you normally would, then you ramp it back up to try to get back to game like the season. and then how you taper it back down, leading up to the game. So I'm following Urban, Lloyd's, Coach Beamer's, Steve's, all their philosophies on how you approach bowl games. So a lot of copycatting going on.
You mentioned the game last night, Coach. Eastern showed up well, and Max doing well in bowl games.
Yeah, which is great. I'd always go to those coaches' meetings, and whenever they went to the bowl part of it, discuss the bowls, I would always not really pay attention because we weren't involved in one, and I was not the happiest of campers. But I believe that we struggled over last year, I think, or 2 years ago. I remember that we didn't do so well in the bowls as a league. But very exciting that Toledo and Eastern won their game. Miami of Ohio just fell short. It was a heck of a football game, and we'd love to go help the Mid-American Conference and represent them in a positive manner on the 26th.
Talking to Dan Meyer on the show this morning, we've all been to games up at Ford Field for MAC championships and bowl games before, and it can be a home game virtually for you guys. How important is it to get that side of the field filled in orange?
Well, I think we sold out our allotment of tickets, which is great, and the more people that can come to the game, the better off I think we will be. Just like you said, I think it is a home advantage. We don't have to go on a 3.5-hour plane ride. They do. They got to go through a time change. We don't. This is a really important game because of the footwork, the footprint of our team. The majority of the kids are from this 4-hour radius. So I think they'll have some pride playing in Detroit. I'm really fortunate and ecstatic that our first one is in Detroit. 1, to get fans there. 2, it's in our footprint. 3, because of recruiting. And 4, this is our first one. These kids have never been to it. So it's much easier when you're 45, 50 minutes up the road, teaching them how you act, how you prep, how you do things during a bowl game. This is all new for them. And we'll do a good job with that. These kids will represent themselves in a first-class manner. And I'll be shocked if we don't go out and play really hard.
All right, one final question. We're going to get coach to practice.
Just your defensive pressure has been great all year. Obviously, just how big it'll be slowing down their quarterback, who's obviously pretty mobile. Just what's going to be the key for that defensive.
No, we got to contain him. It's a happy medium between pressuring him, creating defenses that can keep him in the pocket. Whenever we're 4-man rushing, being able to make sure we stay in our lanes and contain him. But he's good. He's what makes that team go, in my opinion. They want to run the ball. They try like hell to run it, and they're on the right track of being able to push themselves over the top too.